welcome to Hockenheim in Germany. It was the 9th race weekend of the DTM season 2010, and it was very exciting. Now, it's very official that in 2012, BMW will step back into the DTM. We will hear more about that, but for now, here are the highlights. Enjoy.
Yeah, thanks very much, Verena. Exciting news for the DTM. BMW are coming, and also there will be an American DTM series as such coming up in a couple of years' time. Yes, Hockenheim, traditionally the season finale, but not this year. It's round 9 of the 11-race season, but there are now only 4 drivers left with a chance of the championship, and one of them, the best Audi driver, Matthias Ekstrom, is in with a very, very slim chance. It's just mathematical. But it's 3 Mercedes drivers still contesting this championship. Gary Paffett, Paul di Resta, and at the top of the pile, as he's been for most of the season, Bruno Spengler. There we saw former world champion Keke Rosberg. Drivers getting ready here, climbing into their cars on what was a very cold day, but a big crowd. They reckon over the 3 days it was 140,000. Well, Spengler certainly has pressure on him, another former world champion at the meeting. Of course, Mika Häkkinen there. There's Wolfgang Ulrich, the boss of Audi. Big disappointment, though, for Ekstrom because he was near the back of the grid. Giant flags amongst the crowd. And it is a different, shorter Hockenheim we're going to, because the officials have decided to cut a little section of the track just there on the right-hand side. That is not the normal part of the track. There's a cut through there. The track is shorter. It's meant to give more racing action for the fans in the big grandstands. The revised track distance, 3.7 kilometres. Now let's hear what the drivers think of Hockenheim.
When I think this weekend we're going to race at Hockenheim, I'm excited because it's the track that I've raced on the most in the DTM series. Obviously with the season start and the season finale both being there, it's a track that I know relatively well and that we've been relatively quick on last year as well, so it's exciting for me.
And Chinese driver Kong Fu Cheng.
I think it obviously means to a very special race for the older DTM drivers, and obviously the circuit is very traditional.
Yeah, a lot of Chinese journalists coming to watch him this weekend. Yes, Hockenheim, says Timo Scheider, obviously has become a very special place for me. For the past 2 seasons, I've clinched my championships here. So for me, Hockenheim is great. Turn 1, that's one of the best places. You have to get it exactly right, and you can lose a lot of time on that first corner.
I think it's very important to be very smooth in Hockenheim. It's there are some really quick corners, and the car have to be very good balanced.
So there's some of the views. Always a great action. Now, there is the old track. There's the famous hairpin, always sees a lot of action. And that is the section we have lost. And that is the new cut through. And the track 20% shorter. This is the view of Maro Engel. Be interesting to see how the different levels of power work out. And I'm hoping it'll work to our advantage. If you look closely, the 2008, the older Mercedes, aren't normally up to the very top speeds compared to the 09 cars. But with this shorter section now, either side of the Spitz curve, I'm hoping it's going to be an advantage. What about the rankings? Bruno Spengler, I'll give Hockenheim an 8.
I think it's going to be 7 or 8.
Hockenheim is probably around an 8.
Somewhere between 6 and 7, says Timo.
Ich würde sagen, so 8 oder 9.
Matthias Ekstrom, I'd say 8 or 9. Ralph doesn't think much of it. I'll give it 5. And what about the average? 7.25. Well, let's trace a little bit of history now. Let's go back from 2010 to 2003. There you see them on the grid. Audi in those days using the TT. But it was a big battle for the championship between Bernd Schneider and the Dutch driver Christian Albers. They arrived at this final round at Hockenheim with just 1 point between them. The Audi TT into the lead at the beginning. And in those days, of course, it wasn't an official entry. We also had Opel in there as well. And Bernd Schneider in 2003 already had 3 championships in his pocket. He was gunning for his 4th. Albers keen to beat him. And there was dramas for both of them as the Audis also got mixed up in the battle. Lots of great action. There is Schneider in the silver Vodafone car. As you can see, it was a fierce battle around the Hockenheimring. Peter Dumbreck in the Astra was also racing well. And then a puncture for Schneider. Could have lost more time, made it into the pits, but it was certainly a blow for him. Pit stop, 6 seconds. These days, of course, they do it in 3. But amazingly, there was later to be a puncture for Albers. There's Jean Alesi in the black AMG car, the former Grand Prix driver competing that season. Here is Albers into the pits. At this stage in the race, Albers in a very, very strong position. He accelerates out. Lots of on-track action. Bernd Schneider with a real battle on his hands. Jean Alesi getting stuck in and there. Lock up from the Mercedes. Problems then for Albers. He had got a puncture as well. He came in and the pendulum swung back into the favour of Bernd Schneider. The Audis are also getting involved in the mix. But it was Bernd Schneider who became the champion for the 4th year running. And as they do at Hockenheim, the fireworks went off. Let's hear what Bernd's reaction was.
Very happy. I reached everything I wished this year. It was very close in the end, and I'm this time our race god was with me.
So, and he's still driving, of course, Bernd Schneider on this DTM race weekend, actually competing at the Nürburgring in a long-distance race in a new Mercedes GT car. There's Dr. Mario Tyson, the boss of BMW, Hans-Werner Alfrick, the head of the ITR, making the statement BMW will be back to the DTM.
Well, it's a fantastic day for us, I think for the fans as well. DTM is the platform in European touring car racing, and the prospect to have these cars running in Asia and in the US as well is just great. We are very excited about the decision, and we are really looking forward to a strong season 2012.
Yes, and certainly BMW have been working very hard with the ITR to make this happen. This is a great day for the DTM. I am very proud of having BMW, Audi and Mercedes in the series for the future. With the 3 German premium brands, we are looking forward to expanding in the next few years, and the future is really bright. In the past, BMW competed successfully in the World Touring Car Championship and, of course, in endurance races like the Nürburgring 24 Hours, where they had success this year. So BMW certainly will be welcome back into the series.
The schedule is quite tight already. Obviously, we have started to design the car already, and next steps will be now the development. We want to test the car from mid-season 2011 onwards. We have to build up the structure, contract teams and drivers. So there's a lot of things to do before the first race in 2012.
BMW celebrated their most recent DTM championship back in 1989 with the Italian driver Roberto Rovaglia, who finished first in the final race at Hockenheim that year. Will BMW be winning again in 2012? Qualifying, Audi celebrating because it was Timo Scheider who put it on the pole on a very wet track.
The secret in the end was just to find a clean lap without touching any painted parts and curbs, because there you got a lot of wheel spin, losing the time, and that's the thing what I try to avoid. And in the end, I had a perfect lap, clean, without any sliding, and that was a pole position. I'm really happy about that.
Had a great performance from Mike Rockenfeller in one of the older Audis. He was fastest all through the 4 qualifying sessions and finished up with a P2. Best of the Mercedes drivers was Gary Paffett in 3rd place. But Paul di Resta, he didn't make the final Q4 session, sliding around to take P5.
I would have liked to have been a bit further up. Makes life a bit easier tomorrow, but no, we're in a good position to score some good points, and we need to try and close the championship battle a bit more.
Disappointment for Bruno Spengler, didn't seem happy in the wet conditions. He could only manage P10, his worst qualifying of the season.
I was struggling a lot with the grip on the track. I never got the temperature into the tire. It's very cold today. Just struggled to get temperature into these tires. We have to analyze why, and then concentrate ourselves on the race of tomorrow.
Martin Tomczyk was looking relatively confident in the wet weather conditions, but his teammate Matthias Ekstrom absolutely couldn't get a balance at all. He was knocked out and didn't make it past Q1. Knocked out at the last moment by David Coulthard.
I can't even remember last time I were in Q1 out already, so sure it feels really strange and disappointing, but the tires, I had no grip at all, and I was fighting with everything I had, but there was nothing more to do than just to try and fight, but I had no grip at all.
So he would start from P15, his worst starting position for years. Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich saying, we are focusing now on getting the best possible result with 2 cars on the front row. We're hoping to get a victory, but Matthias, I know, will do his best from 15th. So Audi quite happy with their results. A part that is from Ekstrom. There the lineup, because Alexandre Primat, he was in the top 4. So here's the grid: Schneider, Rockenfeller, Paffett, Primat, then di Resta, Marcus Winkelhock, good qualifying, Molina, Oliver Jarvis, and then Jamie Green. That's the top 9. And then Bruno Spengler only in 10th, Tomczyk, Engel, Ralf Schumacher qualified 13th, just ahead of David Coulthard, Ekstrom, and then the rest of the field. Very challenging conditions all through the practice though. Paul di Resta had won the 2 previous races, and he sat down with Verena Wright to discuss the rest of the season.
Now, Paul, the qualifying yesterday didn't run that smoothly for you. You ended up in P5. How do you feel about that?
I'm a little bit disappointed inside because we certainly had the speed to be in the top 4. I just didn't take enough of the advantage we had in the last sector. Marcus Winkelhock went off a bit. I went a bit on the cautious side and was very close to going through. But no, I mean, we still have to be very positive. We're still in front of Bruno, which is our main championship opposition. We're starting on the clean side if it's dry. So there's some good positives, and it's a long race, so we can certainly hopefully gain some positions from that starting grid.
Now, you certainly are the man of the moment. You're 7 points behind Bruno Spengler, but the last 2 races you won, and in the last 4 races you actually gained 36 points. So the season so far is going really well for you.
Yeah, it is, and certainly after Nürburgring we had to get our act together and score a lot of points. Thankfully we've been able to achieve that in the last 4 races, and here we're in a good position, starting 5th. Bruno's 10th. We're on the clean side of the track. Hopefully we can get a good getaway, and it's a long race to hopefully score some good points.
Now, you surely know the feeling of being runner-up. That's what happened 2008. What did you learn from that so that this year you can actually clinch the title?
Well, I was in the same position I am now. You know, I was the chasing one. We came very close. We had a great end to the year that year, and this year's looking a bit the same. I would prefer to be in the other one, but no, you just have to give everything. And that race went down to the last lap. Hopefully this one won't. Hopefully we can get in front and it can be a bit easier. But yeah, I'm only going to do my best, and that's certainly all I can do. You know, if there's anything to complain about, it was the beginning of the year.
And now let's look into the future. I know that you tested for Formula One in the Force India. What is 2011 going to bring for you?
Well, I would hope to be on the Formula One grid. It's a long-time goal and ambition for me. It's a very personal feeling, something I've wanted to achieve and something I'm still trying to achieve. Force India have given me a great opportunity this year. I feel very comfortable in their team. They're great people. Would love to build a long future with them. You know, DTM's been great. Mercedes-Benz have been a great influence to my career so far, and I can only hope that one day, hopefully, we can work together again soon if I did go to Formula One. But DTM's a great championship, and I need to do a job this year, and that's to win the championship first.
Thank you very much, Paul, and best of luck for the race.
Down on the grid for the start of the 9th round of the DTM at Hockenheim. After all the wet of Saturday, it's thankfully dry but very cold. And now we can hear from some of the main men down there with Verena Wright. And first she talks with the pole sitter, Timo Scheider.
And now I'm here with a very focused Timo Scheider, who did a brilliant qualifying yesterday. You secured your 9th pole position. What's your strategy to win the race today?
Well, it's easy. Have a proper start to survive the first 3-4 corners, and then we will be sorted definitely, and I hope I'll be in front after that. And then we have to have a proper strategy, but the car felt quite good this morning, also in the formation lap, so I'm looking forward.
And now we're also having different weather conditions. Today it's not wet, it's dry, but also very cold. Is that better for you?
Well, at least I'm not sweating so much, but in the end it's no difference in the car. It's anywhere warm and hot, but we try our best and try to survive.
Everyone getting ready. Be interested to see how Le Mans winner Mike Rockenfeller goes. This has been his best qualifying for a couple of seasons in the DTM. And Rocky looking pretty confident. Gary Paffett will be a man with a lot of work to do if he is to keep his championship hopes alive. Remember, 2 more races yet. There is Gary with Tony, the physio from Mercedes, and he looks relatively relaxed in a way. Just 2 races to go after this, off to Adria in Italy, and then of course to the showdown in Shanghai, the final round. But here is the grid, Scheider on the front row of the grid with Mike Rockenfeller. Then it is Gary Paffett, still in the championship hunt, and Alexandre Paat, one of his best qualifying performances for a year or so. Paul de Resta, winner of the last 2 races, and Marcus Winkelhock. Magic Miguel Molina alongside fellow Audi driver Oliver Jarvis. Then it's Jamie Green and Bruno Spengler. Green, of course, in one of the older Mercedes. Tomczyk back there with Maro Engel. Then it's the 2 Grand Prix drivers, former Grand Prix drivers Ralf Schumacher and David Coulthard. 2 rows to go. Surprisingly, Ekstrom not used to that view, alongside Catherine Legg, who out-qualified Susie Stoddard, and Frankie Cheng was in 18th position. So getting ready for this start here on this cold day, and off they go, and both the Audis making good starts. It's Scheider into the first corner first. Gary Paffett in 3rd. Remember, he won the 2 previous races here at Hockenheim, and he's challenging. He's trying to get past Rockenfeller. Look at this. The sharp right-hander, and then onto the Parabolica curve. And this then is the section which has been foreshortened. And what will happen down here on this double corner? Here they come. Scheider has got a superb start. Look at Paffett. He's tucked right up the boot of Rockenfeller. braking hard into the area. Look at that silver car going, oh, goes right to the middle. And that's Spengler, but there's a confusion behind. I think Spengler tagged someone as he went through, and that produced this chain reaction and all kinds of 5 cars, I think, damaged. David Coulthard, a lot of damage to the front of his Mercedes-Benz. And Molina is also out. Disappointment for him. And the safety car will come out. So a number of cars eliminated. Catherine Legg, Winkelhock also out. We can see it again. Schumacher out in that Schmozzle as well. Difficult to know exactly how it all started. I think it was probably this, well, Spengler appeared to forget to brake, might have tagged somebody as he went through, and then it was Dodgems, wasn't it? It was just a sort of Dodgem situation after that. Catherine Legg's car, disappointment for her. She'd like to try and get some points this season. And that's the shot of Molina going round. And various different angles of this. Absolute disaster here then. Difficult to apportion blame, but oh, dear me. This is Ekstrom's view. And well, Ekstrom caught up in it. Any chance he had, that mathematical chance of the championship, but pretty well went there. Look, that's the GQ car. Mercedes and Audi will both be looking on at this. Here, this is the key one. Spengler, look, too late on the brakes, goes through and just tagged somebody, I think, as he did it. Jarvis somehow escaped. Oh, look at Mika.
You were in the middle of the chaos. What drama? How do you judge what happened?
No, I had a very good start off the line and overtook some cars, and going down to the new corner, I felt that everything was pretty much under control. I saw it started messing up in front, and then I think it was Ralph that came way quick, and I got hit on the right rear, and then I hit someone on the front as they were all stuck. Then we repaired the front and went out again. I could feel the car was not 100% good, but then the wishbone broke, or something on the rear right broke, and then it was over.
The race ended so soon for you. What happened, do you think?
Yes, it was disaster because I did a good start, but then in corner number 3, I did a good braking, but then I felt a big hit in my car. It was a Spengler that I don't know where to go, and yes, it was finished for me. Sorry about all the people that are in Spain, and sorry, and we continue pushing.
Now there's a new track layout in turn 4, which might have been the reason for this collision. What do you think of that?
Well, if it's creating more excitement for the fans, then I think it's a good one.
But also it means a lot less cars on the track now.
Absolutely, no one wants to make this happen, but unfortunately that's racing.
What exactly do you think about the new track layout in turn 4?
Yeah, I think it's another challenge. You know, it's always nice to have something different, and I guess you ask all the drivers, you have 18 different opinions, but my belief is you race the track that the organisers give you and try and make the best of it. So I really enjoyed to come to Hockenheim. I think there's always a good reception from the fans. When you consider how cold it is today and how many people have turned up, I think it's fantastic. So sorry for them, there's not more cars on the track.
Here at Hockenheim, after that first lap incident, just 11 cars still running. It's Scheider in P1. And Rockenfeller going well also, and being challenged still by Gary Paffett. Paul de Resta has pushed his way up into 4th place. Spengler back, the championship leader in P9. If it stays like this, Spengler's going to lose the championship lead. There is Rockenfeller having an excellent ride. There the 3 together battling for 2nd place. And the pit lane is about to open. So I wonder who will jump first. It's Gary Paffett. Paffett comes in, followed by Pramar, by Green and Jarvis. There's Paffett stopping on his marks. Gary, who won the opening Hockenheim race, had another win since then. Fires it out of the pits. Here's Jamie Green coming. Oh, look at this. Pramar comes down. Well, Jamie Green waved out by his crew, and Pramat was coming through, and well, maybe that has damaged Pramat's car, possibly cut a tyre or damaged the suspension. Pramat having his best run of the season, but the car doesn't look that happy. Let's see all this again. Look, the car is launched by the pit crew, and well, for my money, Green had just did what he was told, and Pramat didn't back off and collided with him. Well, here's Rockenfeller coming into the pits. Important pit stop for the young man who won Le Mans this year in the Audi Diesel. Racing for the Phoenix team, as opposed to the top app team that run the top Audis, and doing an absolutely terrific job. Pramat, incidentally, also with Team Phoenix. And Paffett is still worrying away at the back of Rockenfeller's car. Meanwhile, Paul di Resta has stayed out, and look at that, problems. I think maybe his suspension is broken on Pramat, and he's into the gravel and for sure out of the race. Disappointment for the Parisien. And well, he gets it back to the pits, but I think that's the end of his day.
You had a little notch with Jamie Green. Is that the reason why the race is ended for you?
Yeah, for sure this is the reason, because when we fucked up the pit stop, then I was on the fast lane, and when he came back to me, I was really tight to the wall, and he just hit me and just cut my tire. I saw that it was okay, but on the second lap, I got a big puncture on the entry of Autodromo, so I got locked up, big locking, and then I went straight on Zach's corner. So definitely it's really a shame, because P5 or P4 was possible to score a lot of points, but at the end it's motor racing and it's not my fault, so what we can say?
Well, what can you say? First stop for Scheider. Scheider comes in, that puts up Paul di Resta in the lead of the race and putting in some quick times. Stoddard actually is also not stopped, so shown in third place at the moment. There's the list of drivers on your left-hand side. Everybody mixed up at the moment, though. I wonder if there'll be a penalty for Jamie Green for that incident, really down to his pit crew. There's Gary Paffett, and here Green, yes, drive-through penalty. Disappointment for the man who won, of course, for the third time in a row at the Norris Ring. Great onboard shots here. But Spengler can see that championship lead slipping away. Just hasn't got the pace today. And Spengler also with a couple of wins in his pocket this season, but doesn't look like a victor on this cold day here at Hockenheim. So di Resta on a long first stint, and certainly seems to be making that work for him. And quite a slow stop for Spengler, 6.6 seconds. Just not his day. The French-Canadian who lives in the Alsace. Here's Paul di Resta. Got a nice, clean track in front of him. Paul di Resta putting in the times which could catapult him past Gary Paffett. Remember, before the first series of pit stops, Paul was lying in fourth place. From this race meeting, he flies off to Korea as the reserve driver, of course, for Force India, but Spengler's back in the pits and is out. Disaster for Bruno Spengler. He walks away from the car. Well, difficult to tell from here what happened. Let's have a look at this replay. Something in the suspension, perhaps.
Until now, you were the leader of the championship, but are you aware of the fact that today you could possibly lose the leadership of the championship?
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is. This weekend was a difficult weekend until now. we have been very unlucky, especially today in the race. The performance was really good, but I was blocked by Martin Tomczyk and Oliver Jarvis, unfortunately. But anyway, that's the race, and today I was very lucky if something broke on the car. We don't know why. We have to see that, and yeah, for sure I'm not happy. But anyway, it's not the end of the world. I will try to fight very hard until Shanghai and still win. I still want to win the championship.
Paul di Resta makes his first pit stop as others are starting to make their second. Interestingly, Spengler didn't mention that first lap incident. Here is Rockenfeller coming in then for his second stop as di Resta goes out at the end of his first, so quite a mixed up race today. But Rocky in line, I think, for a podium finish if he keeps up this pace. Here's Gary Paffett. Paffett, perhaps the most experienced of the three Mercedes-Benz drivers locked in that championship struggle. Gary Paffett, though, really needed a win here today. He'll go away from here probably with his championship hopes still alive, but it'll just be mathematical. There'll be 20 points left after this. There's Norbert Haug watching on, the man who controls Mercedes, Formula One and other motor racing, including, of course, the DTM. Scheider into the pits. Now, this is getting to a crucial stage. Scheider will go out, but where is he relative to Paul di Resta? And that is the key. Remember, di Resta at the moment is well in front of him, but is di Resta in front of him enough to actually jump Scheider? That's the key to this. It's a bit of a race of the stopwatch at the moment rather than wheel to wheel on the track. And Scheider needs to get within about 18, 19 seconds of Paul di Resta, and at the moment the gap's just about that. So there's although we don't see it here, there's a real race on our hands between Timo Scheider and Paul di Resta, with Rockenfeller likely to finish third. Here is Paul di Resta, still hasn't made that second stop, has tyres which of course are more worn now than Timo Scheider, but putting in some consistently quick times. Quite a good battle going on further down the field between the likes of Paffett, who seems to have slowed a little bit there. Look at the gap, 18.3 it was before. And what will it be now? Timo Scheider pushing as hard as he can. Had a difficult start to the season, some personal problems which are now ironed out. Well, the gap just a tiny bit larger. There is Rockenfeller, just acting as a bit of a rear gunner perhaps to Timo Scheider. Timo Scheider, champion last year, champion the year before. Here's Paul di Resta then, still absolutely flying. And just widening the gap a little bit. This is going to be terribly close when Paul di Resta makes his pit stop and comes out again. Any hiccup by the pit crew, and they've had a couple this year, could make this particularly interesting. So a lot of pressure on the pit crew. The pit window will be closing fairly soon. A couple of laps for sure, and the tall Scot will come in. And it goes past the pits once more, and the gap still just about even Stevens at 18.4. Not much movement there. Let's watch it then ticking away. And this is di Resta's lead over Scheider, but di Resta, remember, has to make one more pit stop, and it's just got Gone a little bit wider to 18.5. Scheider's trying absolutely everything to keep on terms. The pit crew will be telling him exactly what's happening, what he's got to do. Likewise to Paul. The HWA crew will keep keeping him focused. Probably just saying to him, push, push, push. So we've got a good race on our hands. We lost almost half the field. We lost half the field, in fact. And finally, they get ready for Paul de Resta. The pressure is on those boys, a largely German crew. That's the current position. De Resta, Scheider, Rockenfeller, Jamie Green, Gary Paffett. Green's another one who hasn't made his second stop. In comes Paul. Right down on the pit speed limiter. Then down the pit lane. It's a long run because they're almost in the last box. Tock, 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 tick, tock. And away he goes, 3.7, that's good. Where's he going to come out? Where is Scheider? All coming out. Is Scheider coming there? Scheider coming now. And Scheider, has he got enough speed to get past Paul? No, he hasn't. So, Paul, this is the real race. Now you can see it visually as well as on the clock. This is the battle for the lead. There's the third man behind, the red car, Rockenfeller. And Timo Scheider has a little thinker trying to get past there, but Paul's too experienced for that. Not going to make a mistake there. Rockenfeller doing a great job in third place in one of the older 08 cars. These cars will continue for next year with just Mercedes and Audi, and then it's 2011 when we have the new carbon fibre chassis, which will be provided to all manufacturers, including BMW, and we think that more manufacturers, maybe Lexus, maybe Opel will return, maybe even Nissan will come into the DTM. Indeed, we could have 5 or 6 manufacturers, but nevertheless, we've got a good battle on our hands, and now I just feel that Paul de Resta is starting to pull away a little bit from Timo Scheider. 1.2 seconds the gap now. Advantage Paul de Resta. Mario Engel there, about to be lapped. Paffett in fourth, Tomczyk fifth, then Jarvis. Green has made his stop and dropped back past this big pits complex. And I think they know it's over. Hans-Jürgen up, they're shaking their heads. They can see the lap times as Paul de Resta starts to pull away. Tomczyk been having one of his better runs of the season. Got Jarvis right behind him, and he's in a three-way battle with Gary Paffett. Paffett fourth, Tomczyk fifth, Jarvis sixth. Then Susie Stoddard up in the points for the third time this season. Great run by Susie Stoddard. Jamie Green, of course, suffered from that extra pit stop he had to make. That drive-through. And Gary Paffett, I think, is in a bit of trouble with the handling of the car now. He was in a class of his own at the opening Hockenheim race at the start of the season. He won the last Hockenheim of 2009, but he's not going to make it 3 in a row. There's Oliver Jarvis. Been quite a challenging season from the man from East Anglia. Putting in a good display here, though. Equally, it's been a difficult year for Martin Tomczyk. Neither of them looked like winning races this year. Jarvis came close last year at Zandvoort, remember. Tomczyk had his Nürburgring victory. There's Ralf Schumacher, short race for him, of course. And we wonder if he will continue next year. Oh, look at that! Tomczyk tries down the inside of Gary Paffett, just can't quite make it work. Good, strong effort, though. Good challenge there. And now we're in the closing moments of this race. with Paul di Resta. Out of sight of our camera, has pulled away. And look at Jarvis. Jarvis tries to go down the inside of Tomczyk. And the two are absolutely wheel to wheel. Lug nut to lug nut. But no, Tomczyk just prevails in the stadium section here. A stadium which holds, I think, over 160,000 people. On the edge of their seats at Audi without battle. And Tomczyk attacks Paffett again, just taps him maybe. Paffett, I should say, manages to get on the opposite lock, keep the car under control. Look at that, twitching away at the wheel. And Paffett, in this tense struggle, continues to head the two Audis who are wheel to wheel. Excellent racing. What about Paul di Resta, though? There he is, on his way to a victory, which is going to put him at the top of the championship table. Paul di Resta makes it! 3 wins out of 3 races. Sensational end to the season. Paul di Resta is the winner, helped by that excellent strategy, staying out long in the first stint. Timo Scheider claims second place. Mike Rockenfeller, for only the second time in his DTM career, is on the podium. Gary Paffett keeps the two Audis behind him. Susie Stoddard has almost caught them up. Gets a couple of points.
No, but what a brilliant race. Congratulations, not only because Paul won the race, but also the Drivers' Championship has been decided today. You must be very, very happy.
Yes, I am. Paul won the 3rd race in a row. This only happened the first time here since 1993. 17 years in DTM. But it was amazing. We had a perfect strategy, perfect speed, great job from Paul. Unfortunate for Bruno, but the championship is open, but we know that we are winning the championship, which is a good feeling.
And what about Dr. Ulrich's view?
What do you think about the race?
I mean, it was a race that didn't start so nice because of the accident, and some cars have been falling out. And after the damage on the car of Matthias Ekström, so it was clear that we couldn't interfere to the championship anymore, which was quite hard. Then I think we had quite some good pace, seeing that Paul was very, very fast. And at the end, he had the tick of pace more than us, so we couldn't hold him back. And we also have to say that the lap time exactly before the pit stop was not a perfect one, so it was just the half of a second that was missing to stay in front of Paul. And then, when Paul was in front, seeing what pace he had, we just made it calm and driving a 2 and 3 at home.
Timo Scheider won the championship twice in a row for Audi, but I guess today was decided, the Drivers' Championship was decided for Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, I mean, after Eki was out of the race, it was clear that one of the 3 Merc drivers would make it, and yeah, that's reality. We had it 3 times in a row, which never happened before, so we are looking to the next season.
There is confirmation of the race result. Paul's victory in the end, a massive 10.5 seconds, Rockenfeller 3rd, Paffett, Tomczyk, Jarvis, Stoddart, Green.
Congratulations, 3rd place. That was a really tough race, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely. My start was not perfect, but I managed to stay in front of Gary, and then I tried to do my race. Obviously, Paul was in a different world today because I was fighting against Gary, and I thought I'm on P2, and then the team informed me that actually Paul is leading the race. So I'm really satisfied. I mean, to be 3rd and to be on the podium again, it took me quite a while since the 2nd race of my DTM career. I haven't managed to do that, and I'm really, really happy for the team, and I enjoyed the day.
Here's the vital points. Di Resta now has 63, Spengler has 60, and Gary Paffett has 49.
Well, how do you feel about the race?
Well, I had a good race till the 2nd stop. We had to go a really aggressive strategy just to keep Paul, at least for the first 2 stints, behind. But he was just a bit faster, that's it. And he made it after his 2nd stop, and he pulled away. That was the thing in the end. But he deserved it, definitely. So congratulations to Paul. He did a great race. But that was our performance today. I think it was the best what we did out of it. Well, that's racing, yeah.
That's racing. The crowds go home. Let's hear now from the winner of this Hockenheim race. Great drive by Paul di Resta.
From P5 to victory, and not only that, you're also the leader of the championship now with 63 points. Congratulations.
Yeah, an incredible day. I was a bit disappointed yesterday not to be in Q4. I definitely had the speed, probably the quickest in Q3. Had I not made the mistake, but at the end of the day we started 5th. It was going to be a long race, a lot of unknown because nobody had really done a lot of dry running. And today the car was incredible, just like it's been at the last 2 races. And you know, we managed to get the speed when we needed to be and jump the Audis, which is great.
There they are down in Parc Fermé. Final word from Gary Paffett.
I was 16 points behind the lead before this race, so I'm closer. But I don't know. I mean, as I said before, this weekend we just have to concentrate on the races, trying to score as many points as we can. I mean, I wasn't a title favourite before this race, and I'm still not a title favourite. So we just have to take it race by race. Winning the championship before this weekend was unrealistic. So I don't think we've lost too much in that, but I'm just disappointed with the race performance.
There they are on the podium after an excellent race that started with that big collision, of course. So 2 more rounds yet to go. Italy in 2 weeks' time, and then the street race in Shanghai. I think it'll all go down to the wire there. But for me, Andrew Marriott, it's goodbye until that race in Italy. And a final word from Farina.
I promised you a very exciting race weekend here in Hockenheim, and that's what you got. Truly amazing that Pol di Resta is now the leader of the championship. In 2 weeks, we're in Italy at the Adria, and you certainly don't want to miss that. So see you then. Bye-bye.
Personal transcendental experience. You're my experience. When I think of her, I don't worry about intentions. Just like the thought that she's alive. She's my personal favorite. Counting sheep or other